You know that voice inside your head? The one you think of as you? What if I told you it isn't actually you? It's more like a script. A script written by a culture you never signed up for, handed to you at birth, and that you've been rehearsing every single day. It's the invisible software running your brain, telling you what to want, what to be afraid of, and who you're supposed to be. So if your deepest beliefs, your ambitions, even your identity, were all installed by someone else, who are you really? This isn't just some late-night dorm room question. It's a practical one. Because until you can tell the difference between your own thoughts and your cultural programming, you're not really living your own life. You're just living out a story that was written for you. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that story. We'll expose the invisible software, show you how it runs your life, and then ask the biggest question of all. Are you ready to write your own code? Okay, so to get our heads around this, there's this game-changing idea from sociology called the social construction of reality. It was made famous in the 60s by two sociologists, Peter Berger and Thomas Luckmann. Their big idea is that society isn't just there. It's built by people. We do things over and over, those actions become habits, and pretty soon those habits turn into giant institutions that feel as real and unchangeable as gravity. Think about money. That piece of paper or that little metal disc in your pocket. It's just paper and metal. It has zero value on its own. It only becomes money because all of us have collectively agreed that it's worth something. We all run a shared story in our heads that says we can trade this stuff for food, a place to live, or a plane ticket. That shared agreement is a social construct. It's a piece of software we all decided to run, giving meaning to a meaningless object. Our world is absolutely full of these. Things like nationality, what it means to be a man or a woman, or even the idea of a weekend. None of that exists in the natural world. They exist only because we all agree they do. A country is just a patch of dirt with imaginary lines around it until we all buy into the story of what those lines mean. These shared agreements are what hold society together and let us work together on a massive scale. But here's where it gets personal. This whole process doesn't just build our external world. It builds our internal one too. The culture you grow up in gives you a whole set of prepackaged beliefs, values, and ways to behave. And they aren't handed to you as suggestions, they're presented as reality. As just the way things are. From the time we're kids, we soak up millions of messages about what success looks like, what makes someone beautiful, which emotions are okay to show, and what a good life is. This isn't some evil, conscious brainwashing. It happens quietly through the stories we're told, the way our family treats us, how our schools are set up, and the shows we watch. We get socialized into one specific version of reality, learning a code that helps us fit in and be accepted. This cultural programming becomes the lens we see everything through. It literally shapes how our brain works, what we pay attention to, what we remember, and how we see things. It's the invisible software running in the background, constantly telling us how to interpret the world and who we are supposed to be inside it. And almost nobody ever stops to ask, is this software working for me, or am I just working for the software? So what does this cultural code actually look like day to day? How does it actually steer your thoughts and actions? Its influence is so deep it can change the very way you think. For instance, research has shown that many Western cultures push an analytic way of thinking. You're taught to focus on individual things, put them in boxes, and use logic to figure them out. You learn to see a person or an object as separate from its surroundings. But in many East Asian cultures, a more holistic thinking style is common. This approach focuses on the bigger picture, the context, and the relationships between things. This isn't just a different point of view. It's a fundamental difference in cognitive wiring that affects everything from your memory to what you notice in a photo. It's a perfect example of how culture literally forges the pathways in your brain. This programming also builds your sense of self. In a lot of Western, individualistic cultures, the self is supposed to be independent and self-reliant. The script tells you to be unique, express yourself, and chase your own personal goals. Your identity is built on your personal traits. I am smart, I am a creative person, I am ambitious. In contrast, in many collectivist cultures, the self, is seen as interdependent. Identity comes from your relationships and your role in the group. I am a son. I am a part of my community. I am a loyal employee. The focus is on keeping the group in harmony, being loyal, and doing your duty for others. Neither one is right or wrong, but your culture just hands you one of these models as the default setting for who you are. Or let's talk about something we all chase: success. The definition of success is a huge piece of cultural code. For many, the script is a high-paying job, a big house, and a fat bank account, a story heavily pushed by our consumer culture. For others, success could mean raising a happy family, finding spiritual enlightenment, or being a deeply respected member of your community. That thing you work so hard for every day? It's often just you acting out a definition of success your culture wrote for you. Even your feelings are filtered through this software. While some basic emotions might be universal, culture writes the rules about how, when, and where you can show them. Some cultures see open emotional expression as authentic. Others see holding it in as a way to maintain harmony. What you feel and how you show it are totally tangled up with the cultural rules you were raised on. These aren't small details. This is the operating system of your life. The way you think, your identity, your goals, your emotions, all of it is deeply shaped by a cultural script you never even knew you downloaded. You just woke up one day and it was already running. Before we go on, I want you to hit pause for a second. Think of one belief you have that you're starting to suspect might be a piece of your cultural programming. A belief about success, love, or family that you've just never really questioned. Drop it in the comments below. It's fascinating to see the different scripts we're all running. This all leads to the most unsettling part of the whole idea. If our thoughts, our identity, and our values are all programmed by our culture, then the me we hold so dear might not really be our own. It could just be a bundle of socially approved traits and beliefs that we've mistaken for a unique self. This is the central lie your culture tells you, that the identity it gives you is you. Culture is a huge part of who we are. It shapes how we see ourselves and the groups we belong to. From day one, you're molded by the values and attitudes you're surrounded by. Your identity is built from these cultural bricks. But when that identity is built on a foundation of unexamined beliefs, it can start to feel less like a home and more like a cage. Have you ever felt like you're just playing a role? Like you're chasing goals you're supposed to want, not the ones you actually want? That's the friction. That's the tension between your authentic self and your socialized self. It's that nagging feeling of being an actor in your own life, just reading lines someone else wrote. Society runs more smoothly when people are predictable. So it gives you a pre-approved identity, a label, a role, a path, because it's efficient. The school system, for instance, is often perfectly designed to create good employees who fit right into the existing machine. The problem is, these prepackaged identities almost never fit perfectly. They leave huge parts of you out, unseen and unexpressed. This creates that deep, nagging feeling that something is just off. This is the pain so many of us feel but can't quite name. The war between who we really are and who we've been told to be. And it leads to a life of people-pleasing, chasing validation from others, and feeling like a total imposter. We're told our worth is tied to our productivity. We're told beauty fits into a ridiculously narrow box. We're told that being vulnerable is a weakness. These aren't universal truths. They're just the loudest messages in our culture right now. But we hear them so often they start to feel like reality. We internalize them, and they become the voice of our inner critic. That voice in your head that says you're not good enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough. That's not you. It's just an echo of a cultural script. It's what sociologists call phantom objectivity, a social belief that we mistake for a law of nature. Breaking free from this takes real courage. It means being willing to see the lie for what it is. To finally admit that your sense of self was built on a framework you didn't even create. And yeah, that realization can be terrifying. It can feel like the floor just dropped out from under you. But it is also the most freeing realization you can possibly have. Because you can't break out of a prison you don't know you're in. The moment you see the bars, you can start looking for the key. So, where's the key? How do you even begin to untangle your true self from decades of cultural conditioning? It's not something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong practice of awareness and questioning. But the first and most powerful step is just that, awareness. Becoming conscious of the invisible software. Starting to notice the cultural assumptions hiding behind your thoughts, feelings, and actions. This means you have to start questioning everything. The next time you feel a powerful desire or a deep-seated belief, ask yourself, where did this come from? Is this truly my desire, or is it a desire my culture taught me to have? Why do I believe this is right or wrong? Is this belief actually serving me, or am I just serving it? This kind of self-inquiry can definitely be uncomfortable. It means challenging some of your most precious beliefs. It means seeking out different perspectives, reading books, traveling, or just talking to people who live by a totally different script than you do. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. The truth is, you didn't choose the culture you were born into, and you didn't choose the first script you were handed. But you absolutely have the power to choose what you do now. You have the ability to become the conscious author of your own life. To sort through the cultural code you've been given, keep the parts that feel true to you, and have the courage to throw out the rest. It's about moving from being just a character in someone else's story to becoming the author of your own. That's the journey of a lifetime. To dismantle the lie your culture told you, so you can finally discover the truth of who you really are. That voice inside your head doesn't have to be a script. It can finally be your own. Thanks for hanging out. If this connected with you, give the video a like, and subscribe for more stuff that challenges the way things are. And share it with someone who you think is ready to start questioning things. So, what's the biggest cultural lie you're ready to let go of? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments.